Okay, here's the last screencast for privacy, and this is on our exercise on page 103, exercise 3. So the first one, a story describes a man as a veteran of combat in Iraq who has received a Purple Heart and medals for valor. In fact, the man served in the military during the Iraq War, but was never in Iraq or in combat. What would that be? Well, false light. The story is false, and a non-combatant veteran might be highly offended to be described as having been wounded in combat. So particularly how that would make him feel among other veterans who might look down upon him. So again, it's putting him in a false light. Number 2, a local car dealer wants to run an advertisement that promotes the low prices for his vehicles with the headline, "Bargains that outshine the stars." To illustrate the advertisement, the car dealer wants to use photos of famous Hollywood stars such as George Clooney, Jennifer Aniston, and Matt Damon. Well, as we saw in the last screencast, that would be misappropriation, that right of publicity, where the advertisement is using the likenesses of 3 celebrities for commercial purposes. Pretty cut and dried on that one. Number 3, a news story reports that a member of the city council is having a romantic affair with a local business executive. Both the council member and the business executive are married to others. Well, you're publishing private facts. The story reports on sexual conduct, which are among the most private of activities. And number 4, a newspaper reporter follows up on the story of the romantic affair between the council member and the business executive. The reporter follows the business executive to a motel. When she sees the council member arrive, she takes photographs of the council member getting out of her car in the motel parking lot. Although the reporter is some distance from the business executive's motel room, she is using a powerful telephoto lens that allows her to photograph the executive and the council member in their room. Well, this would be intrusion. Photographing the council member, she gets out of her car, may not be, actually it should be intrusion, not instruction. Pardon me a minute. If it is something that can be seen from the street without the telephoto lens. However, using the lens to observe the two in the motel room, where they clearly have an expectation of privacy, would be intrusion. So again, if you're having to use some extraordinary means or technology to see something that the average person wouldn't normally see, then that certainly would be intrusive. Number 5, an in-depth news story reports on a local family whose members have been involved in a number of crimes over the years. The story describes each family member and the crimes they have committed. The story also mentions in passing a member of the family who has never committed a crime. Well, we got false light again. By including the names of family members who have not committed crimes without an explanation or qualification, the story creates the false impression that they too have engaged in illegal activities. So that's a false light when I'm leading people to a false conclusion. Even if I've got one thing that's true and another thing that's true, if it leads people to a false conclusion, then you may have a false light case against you. Number 6, a reporter is investigating a local judge who is reported to have accepted bribes from people accused of crimes in return for lenient sentencing. The reporter tries to interview the judge as he is getting out of his car to go to work, but the judge refuses to talk. However, the reporter sees the judge put an envelope in the glove compartment of his car, which he leaves unlocked. After the judge has left, the reporter opens the car and the glove box to find the envelope, which holds $1,000 in cash and a thank you note from a defendant in a recent criminal case. So that too would be intrusion. Although the judge has a limited expectation of privacy on public streets, he does have an expectation of privacy in the glove box of his car. For the reporter to rummage in the glove box would be highly offensive to a reasonable person. And then finally, false light, or not finally, but second to finally, a television station reports that police are concerned about the rash of accidents, injuries, and even deaths involving children who are playing in the streets. The station illustrates its story with some video footage of children, some of whom are identifiable, playing in streets, and titles its story, "They Beg to Be Killed." False light. Now, normally, the person's, they're in public, if they're on public streets, but in this case, you're adding some additional information, such as a title saying "They Beg to Be Killed." And that is creating a false impression that children are intentionally risking their lives. And now finally, number 8, a private college in the community recently hired a new dean of students. The new dean is the first woman to hold that position at the college. A reporter, while preparing a profile of the new dean, discovers that she was born a male and underwent gender assignment surgery 15 years ago. She told the college officials of her gender assignment when she interviewed for the job, but she has not made that information public. The profile, the reporter writes, includes the gender change. Now, this would be publishing private facts about a person. The story concerns the dean's sexuality, which is highly private. She may not be able to sue, however, depending on how widely known it is that she underwent gender reassignment surgery and the existence of public records, such as birth certificates, that might be evidence of her gender change. I might take an exception to the authors a little bit on that. You're talking about a dean at it is a private college. That does make a difference. I was going to say, if this was a public college, she would be a public figure, and in which case the information about her gender change or alleged gender change might be of public interest. But since we're talking about a private college, then it probably would fall under this category of private facts. And I think that's it.